Колеги, будемо розпочинати.
So, colleagues, we will start. For a welcoming word, I would like to invite Alona Kinonenko, and the project leader ReBuild Ukraine, a platform where we create water recovery forum. Olena, please. Thank you very much.
And partners, on behalf of the general organizer of ReBuild Ukraine, the Ukrainian exhibition company Premier Expo, let me welcome you all here at Water Recovery Forum. As ReBuild Ukraine project leader, all conferences on site are very special for me, but this one is my passion. As back in Ukraine for many years, I've been managing aquatherm exhibition, and water is a big part of my life. Today's forum program is dedicated to the open dialogue on water strategy in Ukraine, international programs of support, priority needs and projects for recovery and modernization of the current state of water supply, sewage, and wastewater treatment system in Ukraine. It's our big privilege to have the distinguished guests and participants here with us. And the goal of this forum is to develop effective solutions for the restoration, modernization, and sustainable development of Ukraine's critical water infrastructure in line with the European standards and today's challenges that we have in Ukraine. As a flagship industrial event, Water Recovery Forum within ReBuild Ukraine bring together the governments, business, water utilities, international partners and donors, and financial institutions to restore and make water infrastructure in Ukraine resilient. This is where decisions are made that shape the future of the country's water security. Again, thank you very much for joining us, for sharing your experience. We are going to have a rich program with experienced panelists. And closing my welcome speech, I would like to express greatest attitude, gratefulness for each speaker, each moderator, and of course to our long-term partner, the Association of Water Utility of Ukraine, Ukrvodokanal Ekologia, and personally to Mr. Dmytro Novitsky, for this full-scale partnership that we established many years ago, and we extended to this event as well. Thank you very much for joining, and have a very successful day today. Thank you.
Дозвольте теж представитись.
Allow me as well to introduce myself. My name is Dmytro Novitsky, a president of Association Ukrvodokanal Ekologia, co-organizer of Water Recovery Forum, as Olena introduced me. I also consider it an honor to open today's Water Recovery Forum, a platform where we gather Ukrainian water channel, governmental organizations, and European institutions. Today, water supply and water sewage is a real front, a communal front. Every day, thousands of our staff provide Ukraine with water. And I want to express my gratitude to each of them who hold on this extremely important, life-important direction. We are also grateful to our international partners. Due to their help, we can restore infrastructure. We receive support programs, and what is important, we form strategy for development of our sector. Our task is not simply to talk about the problems that stand before Ukraine in water supply and water sewage systems. Our task today is to elaborate a specific steps that will allow not only to restore ruined by war objects, but also to recover on such a level that they would be according to EU directives level. So I sincerely I am sincerely grateful for the support in this forum. Together we will recover a sector of water supply and water sewage system. Together we will renew the whole Ukraine. So I would like to invite on the stage to us a great friend of our sector of Ukraine, Nicola Osbert. Please.
The great friend managed to switch on the mic. Good morning, everyone. Switching to English. Warm welcome. We're starting a bit late, but we'll catch up on time. So to set the scene, I was given the opportunity to show a few slides on the situation in Ukraine, and then we'll invite our panelists and indeed a high-level panel. That's a picture of Kherson after the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam. So that presentation on the topic for today, how to switch to early recovery. Well, let's not forget that there is still big emergencies ongoing. Unfortunately, the number of strikes on infrastructure has risen between 2024 and 2025. Many more attacks and more widespread throughout Ukraine. And you can see the numbers here. The energy sector is very much targeted, so are the water and sanitation infrastructure. This is a graph on the rapid damage need assessment led by the government with the support of the World Bank. And you can see that the construction needs for the sectors are in the range of $11.6 billion. And we will see during the next RDNA, where do we land? And we can anticipate an increase, further increase. And that's another map on the current situation, the people in need, and the struggle for the emergency response at the scale required. Very happy to share that link. This is an open source database where you can see all of the issues, water, sanitation, where the strike happened is quite well detailed by the humanitarian colleagues. So yeah, while we talk about recovery, it's important to continue the humanitarian response. There are lots of needs, and it doesn't stop. But still, the government, under the leadership of the government, there is a very strong push for the recovery. Another illustration of the same, these are the needs in terms of backup power supply, and we are approaching or starting even the winter season. And you can see here again, we have a $11 million deficit just for backup power supply so that there is continuity of water, essential water and sanitation services, particularly during the winter. Now, more towards recovery, we have delivered quite comprehensive study, UNICEF, on the issue of water tariff in Ukraine. And you can see this theoretical breakdown. What does the water tariff pay in most of the EU countries, right? So it pays for all the operational costs. You can see the staff, the energy, chemicals, but also the capital investment for the replacement of decayed infrastructure and the debt reimbursement. So that's more or less the EU picture. And let's say this is where we stand in Ukraine in terms of water utility, a struggle just for the operational cost, not about the debt or about the capital investment yet. And the more it goes, the more that rectangle is becoming thinner. The cost of the service has been multiplied by 2. The revenues of the utilities has been divided by 2. So it's a fourfold and still widening gap. In this context, the shift to recovery is problematic. A lot of loans have been pledged, big success, and thanks to the government during the Rome conference. But how do they materialize? When do they reach Ukraine for real? Because of the issue of creditworthiness in the sector. There is a lot of drive as well for private sector investment and good ideas of joint ventures between European utilities and Ukrainian utilities. But again, for this to become a reality, we need a business opportunity, and there is no such incentive yet, considering the tariff structure and the struggle. And we understand that tariff is a very sensitive topic, but there are a lot of EU experience showing that you can touch on tariff and still ensure that water is a social good. and to have measures for the poor so that the tariff does not become the burden of the poor. And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are multiple, and we'll hear from the panelists on those opportunities. And the biggest slide for the end, and we'll hear the panelists. So good opportunities. Recently, under the lead of the government Ministry for Restoration, we have a formal coordination under the Ukraine Donor Platform, under the Group 17 on housing and utility, which is chaired by the ministry and co-chaired by France and UNICEF. The ministry is willing to establish an office of reform, experts really to drive all the reforms, and there is a lot of work and a lot of people on the deck required. Finally, the ministry is making a big effort in developing its monitoring system, monitoring and evaluation system, including water quality. And finally, there will be less de-link between what's happening at the national level and the reality on the ground. In the same way, massive efforts in terms of capacity development, national curriculum were established, trainers were trained, and twinning initiatives are ongoing, online training systems, and there is a lot to be done there as well. And here, the Vodokanal Association has a major role to play in the country for capacity development of utilities. We have reforms law enabling, paving the ground for corporatization of municipal enterprises. It's a framework, it's not a reality yet, but it opens the opportunity, I guess, for piloting and to inform scaling up. And finally, there is this massive DREAM platform, which serves as a repository of projects that was established but not fully functional or necessarily used, and this is picking up. We have more and more projects assessed and approved. Now on the challenges, and this is to open for the panel discussions. Well, there are immediately preventable losses in the sector in terms of energy, non-revenue water, and we commend the leadership of the state agency for reconstruction of Ukraine. They designed those campaigns for the immediately preventable losses, but they are yet to be funded, which is the current struggle. We don't have a real pipeline of projects, okay? How do we select? There are so many needs. There are requests flying out every day, emergency, recovery, how to organize them, how to process them, what are the criteria? This is not yet a reality in the country, and it's critical. We still have fragmented sector, the responsibility is diluted across several line ministries and state agencies, so the effort on coordination are critical, and we need to continue this institutional regulation work and coordination. And finally, the lack of, I want to mention the lack of recovery plans and investment cases at the local level. In all the panels, the EU and other supporters of Ukraine are very clear. If you don't have a clear plan and a vision at the local level, it will be difficult for the money to flow. Sorry, I took a bit too much time, and let's hear from our panelists. Thank you, Dmitro.